Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. We are back and it's good to be back as well. I took a little break, it was my birthday. So I thought, you know what, we're going to press the pause button for a couple of weeks. Just because as well, we've got such a busy schedule and a busy run coming up. So this was the only time where I could actually just chill for a little bit because it goes 100 miles per hour next week. We got Jordan Gill versus Zelfa Barrett on Saturday next week. But in the week, I'm actually going to spend a day with Tyson Fury in Morecambe, which is going to be fun. You got the Gill Barrett press conference. I've got my TalkSport shows as well. And then after the Gill Barrett fight, what am I doing after that? New York for Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. Then after that, it's Canelo Munguia in Vegas. By the way, I'm always grateful for this. I'm saying all this like it's hard work. I mean, it's work, but it's fun as well. So yeah, got Munguia, Canelo, and then after that, we got Fury, Usyk. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm pretty sure I am. And then obviously, Bivol Beterbiev and that 5 versus 5, which still hasn't been announced. Like, when are we going to hear the announcement of this 5 versus 5? Like, I did a video, I think the last video, almost guessing what I thought was going to be the 5 versus 5. I feel like there's still a few that I guess that are right, like Hrgovic, Dubois and Wilder, Zhang, but I think there's still some question marks about the other 3 fights. So yeah, we got that. And then obviously we got TalkSport in between as well. We got build up to the Champions League final. I mean, geez, that's why I took a break. But we have missed so much. There is so much to catch up on. Obviously, we're going to talk about Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark, fight of the year contender. Probably is the best fight of the year so far. Great, well done to Boxer. I actually feel like that could. I'm trying to think of the events that Boxer have put on since getting his contract with Sky. That might be one of the best ones. Actually, Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields, that was good. With Michaela Meyer versus Alicia Baumgardner. The Kelbrook Amir Khan was good as well, just because we've been waiting for so many years. But I think this one was really, really good. Obviously not pay-per-view as well. I think the other 2 were pay-per-view. Khan Brook was definitely pay-per-view. Was Shields? Maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember. But this was good. This was good. So congratulations to Boxer and Ben Shalom. We'll talk about that. Obviously, we're going to talk about Fundora beating Tim Tszyu. I did say Fundora is a problem, you know. He's a problem because of his size. And if you're Tim Tszyu, I mean, in the lead up to Keith Thurman, you're not sparring guys that are 6'4", 6'5", however tall Fundora is. So that was always going to be tricky. Where Fundora is used to fighting guys the size of Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is never used to fighting the guys of Sebastian Fundora. So that was going to be a problem. Rolly Romero getting humbled by Pitbull. Yeah, I was watching, I've not watched that fight in full, but I was watching highlights of it and just the build up to it and sort of the post-fight reaction to it. And all I could think of was, look, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes with these negotiations. You know, the amount of times managers and promoters have pulled me to the side for the videos I've done and said, Ade, you got it completely wrong. So it's always difficult to know, but surely Rolly Romero should have took the Ryan Garcia fight. Like, surely. Like, I don't know, maybe it comes down to pounds and pence or dollars and cents. And maybe, I can't see how, but maybe he got more money fighting Pitbull. But you would have felt like Ryan might have been a more winnable fight. I still don't think he would have beat Ryan, by the way. I feel like people still sleep on Ryan because of the Gervonta loss. I don't think he would have beat Ryan, but I think it would have been a more winnable fight. Whereas Pitbull's just a nightmare. A nightmare for anyone. 135, 140, anybody at 135 and 140 is going to have a problem with Pitbull. Not saying he's going to beat them all, but he's going to cause you a problem. I think we saw that against Gervonta. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what Rolly does next. I don't know. He looked almost looked very sad in that post-fight interview. Those post-fight interviews are tough when a fighter, even when a fighter wins and has taken a lot of shots, they're tough, let alone when a fighter loses. Trust me, I've had to do a few of them, and you're walking up to the fighter and you can see they don't want to do it. You can see they're a bit concussed, they're tired, and you almost can't take what they say as gospel in that moment. And Rolly looked all over the place, but good win. Very, very good win for Pitbull. And good luck to anyone that gets in the ring with that guy next. Good luck to the matchmakers trying to find someone to get into the ring with that guy next. Because again, I think it's very, very difficult. As for Tim Tszyu, look, I think he's taken it on the chin. I never ever thought Tim Tszyu was going to go through his career unbeaten. So it's how you recover from those setbacks. Look, credit to him. I mean, with Keith Thurman dropping out, he could have said, no, I want Keith. I'm not ready for a Fundora type. Again, like I said, I've not got any sparring. I mean, where do you find sparring for fucking Fundora? Do you have to find light heavyweights and cruiserweights that are just that tall? Because you're not going to find many 154 pounders or 160 guys that big. So look, credit to Fundora, credit to Tim Tszyu. Maybe you run it back. I think maybe Tim deserves that on a full camp, and Fundora probably would be willing to run it back as well. All right, let's talk Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley. I had that a draw as well. I think a draw was a fair result. I think it was almost like a fight of two halves. Plus, you got the knockdown and point taking off Fraser Clark. So if you gave it to Fabio, I think I'd understand. If you gave it to Fraser, I'd be a bit like, So I think a draw is fair. I mean, one thing we know about Fabio, fuck me, that guy has a chin. That guy has a chin, because I don't think Fraser's the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division, but a guy the size of Fraser Clark hits you clean, you're going to fucking feel it. And Fraser Clark checked that chin of Fabio a few times, and Fabio ate them. And for Fabio, look, you don't want to have to go through that for your whole career, right? Take that kind of punishment. But at least he knows a couple of things now. He can take a whack off a proper heavyweight, legit heavyweight, and he can go 12. And he can find reserves. He knows he can do that. For Fraser, I don't know what Fraser would have questioned going into this fight, but Fraser knows that he's there. He's there, right? I mean, Fraser was that close to becoming British Commonwealth champion. So he's there, which means for me, he's fringe world, but European level. And I'm happy for Fraser. Fraser will be, I think he'll kick himself knowing, I think sort of those last couple of rounds, if he doesn't kind of just sort of mess up his own work a little bit, almost. And look, it's easy to say, right? When you're really tired and you're fucking digging deep to find breath to fucking live, let alone for a punch, it must be difficult. But there are times when I feel like he kind of got in front of his own work rather than kind of just found himself a bit of space. And he's got way more experience than Fabio at doing that, right? Having had the amateur career he's had. So he might look back and think, I had a couple of opportunities there just to take my time and set up the shots properly. But look, it was a great fight. Honestly, really, really good fight. I say run it back in my thumbnail. I don't know if they will run it back. Just because both guys took a bit of punishment in that. And, I mean, you're going to want to get paid to run that back. I don't know what they got paid for this one, but you want to get more than what you got last time out. And to do that, I mean, either they sacrifice the undercard so those two guys get the full amount of money and the undercard ain't great, or you risk to chuck it on pay-per-view. I don't know if it's that. Look, they done really well putting it on a Sunday, obviously straight after Man City Arsenal. So hopefully you kind of hold on to a bit of that crowd. And I think the numbers are pretty good as well. So look, all in all, it's a success. It's a box ticked for both fighters. They sold it well. Fraser Clark wearing the Norwich top when he went to Ipswich. Obviously, Fabio's an Ipswich fan. I thought was fantastic. They've obviously got a bit of a rivalry. So both sold it well. The face-off was really good. It was honestly, it was fantastic. All around, it was a win. It was a win because you can do all that. You can do the face-off. You can do the press conference was good between them. You can do all the build-up stuff between those two. If the fight doesn't deliver, then none of that means shit. But the fight delivered and then some. It over-delivered, in fact. I don't think anyone expected it to be that good. So, yeah, I'd like to see it again, but I'm not quite sure. How old's Fraser Clark? I just feel like with Fraser, maybe you just go now. Like, you maybe just say, you know what? And all of a sudden, my internet has decided to slow down. So I can't even check Fraser. I think, let's have a look. Okay, here we go. Fraser Clark is 32. Okay, he's not as old as I thought. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, if it's not Fabio, what kind of opponent next for Fraser? Who out there for Fraser would make sense? Like Like, would you risk Fraser with a Charles Martin type opponent? Maybe. I mean, it's Carlos Takam. I know Carlos Takam. I don't think he's fought since the Bacoli defeat, but it's Carlos Takam, still a name that kind of makes sense. A very durable veteran, someone like that for both of these guys, by the way, for both. But I think that's where they are, kind of there. So you're looking at guys floating in and around the top 20, but ultimately, good fight. Wouldn't mind seeing it again. All right, let's see where we are. Eddie Hearn high on Hitchens ahead of his fight. Hitchens, Richardson Hitchens. This is, by the way, headlines this weekend. You know what? I like Hitchens. I think he's a good 140 pounder. The 140 pound division is ridiculously stacked. The reason I kind of just started there, I was just thinking about Hitchens fighting Zepeda, and we saw what Dalton Smith just done to him, the way he collapsed him. And I don't know if that, with Hitchens going all the way, I don't know if that kind of takes it away from what I thought of Hitchens. I'm not quite sure. I mean, look, Zepeda gave Prograis some problems as well, but I'm not quite sure. But look, 140 pound division is ridiculously stacked. I know he was calling out every single name the other day at the press conference, calling out Devin Haney, calling out Teofimo Lopez, calling out Subriel Matias. Let's just see what you can do on the weekend first. I'm always wary when fighters do that. I'm like, just concentrate on what's in front of you. Stop that. But we'll see. Eddie Hearn unable to update ongoing Ben situation following twist in doping saga. This is by far now the longest dragged on doping saga, I'm using that word there, I've ever seen following the sport of boxing. Can't think of a longer one that's been this. Normally it's get caught, okay, cool, ban. Or fight it, go court of arbitration, get it reduced, come back, fight for it. Like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this. This has now gone on and on and on. And I there was a time when after Ben beat that Dobson guy, I remember, so they were very confident, Ben's team, of whatever sort of injunction, if you like, with the British Boxing Board of Control, whether that was going to be lifted. Very confident, and obviously it hasn't. How do you even plan Ben's future where you don't know where he's allowed to fight? This is just the biggest mess I've ever seen. Everyone is to blame here. Obviously not us. I mean, everyone on Ben's side is to blame. Everyone. I'm sorry. This is just now. I don't know what advice he's got and from who, but mate, we move on. Canelo Alvarez on Oscar De La Hoya, saying stupid things is all he knows. It's going to be an interesting build up, this, isn't it? Because I almost feel like Oscar wants. Look, this is what Oscar wants, isn't it? He wants a guy. It kind of reminds me a bit of when Oscar kind of just had fighters lined up to fight Floyd, and just desperately wanted one of his fighters to beat Floyd. Now I remember this properly actually when Shane cracks Floyd, Shane Mosley, and Oscar's ringside. Go and watch it, and he is fucking celebrating, thinking, "Yes, I've got one that's going to beat you." And obviously, this is Oscar now, a few years later, and he probably thinks he's got the fighter now that can beat him in Canelo. It's weird how it's changed. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a really good fight, but I think Canelo gets it done against Munguia. David Benavidez calls for Canelo Alvarez to show respect. Pardon me, it should be the other way around. Why does Canelo have to show any respect whatsoever to Benavidez? Can anyone answer that? I'm not, again, I always have to just make sure people are very clear on this. I'm not the biggest Canelo fan. When people say, Ade, who's your favorite fighter? I never ever think Canelo, but I have to respect him. Like you have to respect Canelo. You do. And for Benavidez to say Canelo has to show respect, what are we doing? Come on, Benavidez, man. Come on. Did you see that sparring, by the way? Benavidez and Andre Durrell, the man they used to call the Matrix. Was it the Matrix? It was the Matrix, wasn't it? That sparring looked vicious. And Andre Dirrell, I know he's retired now, but he looked like he still got something there, by the way, because they weren't holding back. Like, they were really going for it. And Benavidez was cracking him, and Dirrell, to be fair to him, was cracking him back. Interesting. I wonder if Andre is going to have a little comeback. I don't want him to, but I wonder if he will. Angel Fernandez sees Chris Billings-Smith as the favourite for rematch with Richard Riakporhe. Been busier recently, hasn't he, Chris Billings-Smith? I wasn't too convinced of him against Masterneck, though. Still don't know what happened in that fight, by the way. Kind of dodgy ending that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to watch their first fight back. I honestly can't remember any of it. I have to watch it back. What's going on with Richard, actually? When was the last time Richard fought? I feel like he had a little run where it felt like he was a bit, getting a bit busy, and then it's just stopped. 34, Richard Riakporhe, jeez. It's weird how 34 is not old in life, but it sounds really old in boxing. Okay, he fought Dylan Bregion on the 18th of November. Okay, so he hasn't had a fight so far this year, but 2 fights last year, 2 fights the year before. Okay, so he's been semi-busy, just not busy enough, to be honest with you. But let's see. Hopefully that fight it's not been announced yet, has it? Hopefully it gets announced very, very soon. What else do we got here? Yeah, I don't think... Have I spoke about this? Lawrence Okoli going to Joe Gallagher. I'm not sure, man. Honestly, I'm not sure about that. I mean, Lawrence is my boy, so I wish him good luck regardless of who he's with. But I don't know, man. I thought we were just starting to see something. I thought with Shane McGuigan. Like, I thought Shane unlocked something. Like, his best performances have been with Shane. That's a fact. And obviously you leave Shane, new trainer, and now another new trainer. What's that? So that's 4 new trainers in space of 7 fights. Is that right? 6 or 7? It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. Anything else? Ex-trainer Manny Robles calls for Andy Ruiz to enter Saudi Arabian heavyweight mix. Yeah, I did a video about this. I actually know why Andy Ruiz isn't fighting right now. Nothing to do with performance enhancing drugs before everyone says it. Something else. Andy Ruiz has to enter this. Andy Ruiz is such a good fighter. Such a good fighter, man. He is the most inactive top heavyweight I've seen in years. Let's have a look at 34 as well. Right, so since that AJ win, which was 2019, bear in mind we are 2024 now, so 5 years, he has had a grand total of 3 fights in 5 years. That is Keith Thurman territory. 3 fights in 5 years. The defeat to AJ where he was ridiculously overweight, and then he didn't fight for nearly 2 years, and then fought Chris Arreola, and then that fun fight against Luis Ortiz. When was that Luis Ortiz fight? 4th of September 2022. So he's not fought for 2 years nearly. Or it will be 2 years by the time it rolls round. Yeah, he needs to get in the mix. I wouldn't mind. Him and Dillian White have gone back and forth for a minute. I wouldn't mind him versus Dillian White. Wouldn't mind that at all. Or, look, Bacoli deserves an opportunity. Bacoli's performance against Carlos Takam was really good. He deserves an opportunity. Joe Joyce is back. You've got Jared Anderson fighting on the weekend. This weekend, I think, Jared. I mean, there are so many good fights out there in the heavyweight division. Like, this is the wrong time. With the amount of money that has been poured into the heavyweight mix from Saudi Arabia, this is the wrong time to be an inactive heavyweight. Like, this is the worst time. The amount of money people were missing out on. God. Mike Tyson admits to being scared to death ahead of Jake Paul encounter. I'm just not ready for this fight at all. Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, and all these everyone's getting excited because Mike puts out a 4-second clip or 4 seconds pushed together of looking good. Like, I remember when Mike did this against Roy, like, put out those clips, and I was like, gee, Mike might be back, you know. Might be back. Nostalgia's a motherfucker, because nostalgia will make you feel like these guys are what they were 30 years ago. It's just not possible. It's just not humanly possible. So yeah, Mike should be scared to death because I expect Mike to get destroyed by Jake Paul. I really do, which is awful, but it is what it is. Deal for Anthony Yarde to face Joshua Buatsi could be thrashed out this week, says promoter. Why does these things take so long? Why does coming together on money take so long? It's not like it isn't like this is the first time their promoters have ever struck a deal before in making a fight. Does that make any sense? Like this is Frank has probably done like hundreds of thousands of deals. Knows exactly what to do. Ben Shalom's a bit more newer to this, but Ben's done some deals as well. Why is this taking so long to agree on money? Why is it taking so long? I don't understand. I really don't. But look, hopefully it gets announced. Look, O2 Arena, definitely can't think of any other place this should be. It will be pay-per-view, people. Maybe there is a discussion about what platform. I think it will be Sky Sports, right? Just because of that Sky Sports machine, especially if you're pushing it on pay-per-view. Maybe TNT could have it on pay-per-view as well. I think we're seeing this with the events in Saudi where DAZN have got it, Sky have got it, TNT have got it. They all price it the same, and good luck. Whoever gets the most gets the most. But yeah, if it will be announced this week, it would be fun. You know, I might do. I've got Andy Clarke coming here. Hopefully Monday. Andy Clark's got a book out. We're going to try and review the book and talk about other bits as well. I think it's a good time to kind of do a review of the first quarter of boxing. I think it's been a really good first quarter, and I think the second quarter is frightening. But we haven't obviously got any announcements for the third or fourth. Hopefully we get an announcement about Terence Crawford in the third quarter. Terence Crawford is back training. So yeah, it would have been Terence Crawford, Timzo. I don't know if Terence is going to fancy the Fundora fight. Terence will work him out, but again, it's an awkward man to fight. Anyway, guys, girls,